Yeah, don't forget to do the recording of the corner. Oh, we're live. Hi, guys.
Oh, hey, are we live? Okay,
We are. We're
2 days in a row that I wasn't sure. I mean, yesterday I really thought I was, and then,
We're better just not
Yeah.
guess around
Yeah,
here.
we're
You never
gonna-
know if we're
exactly.
here, we're not here, we're live, we're not
Yeah.
live.
welcome to Trail Talk. We're so glad you could join us today.
That's right.
We're live here at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center in Duncan, Oklahoma. If you've never been here, come and see us. It's worth the visit.
That's right.
And I'm Edie.
And I'm Mary.
And we have this super cool lesson for you today about the Oklahoma State flag. See that S right there?
That's kind of like a buzzing bee sound.
Yeah. So, you may or may not know that there have been a lot of flags
More than
that
what
have-
you would think.
that have flown over Oklahoma. And Mary and I were talking about this earlier.
Mhm.
You probably heard, like Six Flags, the amusement parks. They're actually called that because the state of Texas has had 6 different flags. The flags of 6 different nations
Have flown.
have flown over Texas.
Mhm.
Well, and so that was the name of their, they chose that name for their amusement park. You would never connect the two if you don't know that little.
Well, right, because
tidbit.
there's Six Flags over other part. I mean, there's other Six Flags, not just in Texas, right?
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
there's one in, just outside of St. Louis.
Mhm. So, I mean,
And,
you would
I
connect
can't
that to
remember
the
where else, right, but that's where the name originally came from. Well, Oklahoma has actually had 14 flags
that have flown.
that have flown over the 14 different, I guess you could say different nations. We'll kind of get to that as we look at them. But at the state capitol, there is the display that has those
Mhm.
flags.
It still reside, yeah.
Right.
Still.
And I don't know about you, viewers, I don't know how you guys are, but if I walk up to a plaza, I don't typically stand. I feel like flags should be lower.
I can understand
what I'm saying?
both
Yeah.
aspects, because you want them to be seen from afar.
Right.
And it's kind of a not majesty, but kind of a
Mm-hmm.
awe
Yes.
type deal,
Right,
for lack of a
right.
better word.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you get close to it, yeah, you're
You're
doing
just
this
like-
and you're like, if you're like me, I feel like I'm gonna fall.
I do believe that there are like,
Plaques
little things, plaques on little,
as to telling why they're there.
Yeah.
Why they're being flown.
yeah, but you're not gonna have to drive to our state capitol to see all of that because we're gonna have all of those flags up here for
I can maybe
you.
make a wind noise.
So we're gonna get started. Here's our current state flag, of course, the one
Just a
we're
thing
most
that-
familiar with, and we're gonna talk about this one.
And to why and what.
Uh-huh.
and
Yes,
its
exactly,
representation.
later on. And as you might have noticed on the little promo about this lesson, we're going back to our state
Right,
symbols.
that's the whole reason why we're diving into this.
Mhm. And we just went on a deep dive. There was a very wide, deep rabbit hole that sucked
you fell
me
into.
in. I was Alice.
I'm the
And
one that helps pull her out and helps to regurgitate the information, but she falls in. I have to keep a tracker on her.
Yeah, I disappeared for a while. So the first flag was called Coronado's Royal Standard of Spain,
1541.
1541. Now, according to the Historical Society, Oklahoma Historical Society, the Spanish explorer Coronado brought it actually to what is now Oklahoma
Mhm.
in 1541.
Right.
So it is red and white quarters, and it has the castle and lion represent the royal houses of Castile and Leon.
From which the king of Spain descended.
Yeah,
Now, if you ever go to the Capitol and you see this flag flying, you're gonna think, what in the world?
Right.
You watch this episode of Shrek. You're gonna know
exactly.
why.
So, evidently the first European explorer
Mhm.
to come to what is now Oklahoma
Right.
and actually put his nation's flag here was Coronado in 1541.
Mhm.
Wow. This is the thing that I'm kind of I really love about this is that even though I'm sure he
Oklahoma.
battled with the Native Americans who lived here. There, yeah, and as a matter of fact, I know for sure that they never actually settled in Oklahoma because he was over in Arkansas and there were Native Americans who fought and prevented his coming into
Mhm.
what is now Oklahoma
Right.
and settling, but he discovered, right?
He planted a
discovered,
flag.
yeah, and planted his flag. Okay, next we have the Great Union of Great Britain from 1663. So this was King Charles II, and this is so British. Okay, sorry. He gave a wide strip of country from the Atlantic to the Pacific to his friends, as though he owned
Owned it to give.
from the whole bottom, I don't know, third or
Of the United
whatever of what is now the United States, from the Atlantic to
Right,
the
ocean to
Pacific,
ocean, coast to coast.
gave it to someone who was a friend. Okay, King George.
Kind of like your draw name. Oh,
I-
here, this is all I have left to give to you.
I'm just, anyway, it was known as Carolina and included all of what is now Oklahoma. And this was the, so this is kind of interesting. This is a little bit different from the current flag
flag.
of Great Britain. But this is a blue field with the white cross of Saint Andrew and the red cross of Saint George, signifying the union of Scotland and England. So this was, I guess, when the Great Union of Great
Right,
Britain,
kind of the
this
unification.
must have been their first
Mhm.
flag as a union where they
Right.
came together
Right.
instead of being just separate countries.
Countries together.
So that was free off. It was our
Tidbit.
summation of this. Okay, next, we have the French Royal Standard of 1719. So we have Spain,
Simplicity.
Great Britain, well,
Well,
Friends of George.
right.
I don't know.
where they reside.
Yeah, and then France. Okay, so this is,
This to me looks more like a napkin.
It does look
it's
like-
respectful to those of the French royal standard, you know, but
uh-huh.
it's very
it is.
simplistic.
Yeah, and the fleur de lis
Yeah.
are, of course, in the early 1700s.
Didn't have much
I
time
don't
to choose
know.
from.
Yeah, Bernard de la Harpe. I probably did not say that. It's probably Bernard de la Harpe. Brought this flag to the region in 1719 when he visited an Indian village on the Arkansas River near what's Haskell,
in
Oklahoma
Muskogee
today. The French claims on this area go back to 1682, which I thought this was interesting. So, during all of this 1600, 1700, we have, you know, the French and the English, and there's the French and Indian Wars, and just all of these things going on, all of these countries wanting to lay claim to these lands.
Mhm.
And so the French, LaSalle claimed this country, all the country drained by the Mississippi River and its branches in the name of France. And fleur de lis, just, here's another freebie, means French lilies.
Mhm.
So this is an artistic
Rendition
of a lily.
Right.
I never, ever knew that.
I thought it was just,
A design they liked, I don't know.
right.
But yeah, so it's a flower, and I knew fleur was a flower.
Right.
Anyway, so all the land drained by the Mississippi probably ends up being what was included in the Louisiana Purchase,
Right.
which happened in 1803. So,
That's the same time.
anyway, yeah, so, anyway, and LaSalle claimed that in 1682, so, then we go to the Cross of Burgundy, and this flag is from about 1506,
Really?
but in 1763, France gave all the country west of the Mississippi to Spain to end the 7 Years' War via the Treaty of Paris. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the 7 Years' War was a European
Mm-hmm.
battle, but they're giving land,
Away here.
a land. Anyway, Both French and Spanish explorers had established trading posts in the area, and this flag was used by Spain and its colonies, and thus the fourth flag to fly over
Maybe it was one of
Oklahoma.
those friends of George.
Could have been. Yeah, it's supposed to resemble knotted tree branches. So kind of an artistic.
Right, to me, it looks more like a, well, they wouldn't have railroad tracks back then, but maybe even swords
Yeah,
would be a closer rendition than what I would think.
so
Not
this would be, Spain again.
Right.
Okay, then we have the standard of Napoleon's French Republic.
In 1800,
Yeah, which I need to point out,
it's backward, right?
it is backwards because
Present day.
I could not find a single picture of the Napoleonic flag.
Really?
They were all blue, white, red, where it's supposed to be, where the flagpole would be here. Under Napoleon, it was red, white, blue, but there were no pictures of it in that
Really?
order. Yeah,
Interesting,
yeah.
interesting.
In 1800, when Spain gave all the province of Louisiana to France, Louisiana Purchase happening just a few years. This flag shows 3 perpendicular stripes. They were reversed by French law in 1830.
Right.
And I am certain that that was when they overthrew Napoleon in France.
Right. Reverse that flag.
And so they reversed that and made that the official. So this is the official French flag today.
Right. Just.
But yeah, so you guys are getting a lot of free history
Little
lessons.
tidbits, not just
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
not just Oklahoma, but so it goes, let's see, so it was Spain, Britain, France, Spain, France.
Yep.
Okay,
Now
so
we're at
then
18.
1803, we know the Louisiana Purchase happened. Thomas Jefferson bought it from France. And so in 1795, I had the wrong ones, yeah. The purchase of Louisiana by the US brought the first time a United States flag would fly over what is going to become Oklahoma. There were 15 stars, and if we remember, the very first flag had 13 stars and 13 stripes and 13 stars representing the 13 colonies.
Right.
So in 1803, there were 15 states because the United States had become the United
Right,
States at that
right.
time. They were no
Colonies.
longer British colonies. And so they made 15 stripes as well as 15 stars. And so this is, flag was according to the law of May 1st, 1795, which the Constitution was 1787. And so they added 2 more states and they updated the flag. And so, in 1818 then, the 20 star flag of the United States was flown over what would become Oklahoma. And
stripes.
right, yeah, they went back to 13 stripes to represent the 13 original. And by now, 1818, there are 20 states in the United States. So all the states are still
So
east of the
coming in.
Mississippi, but there are now officially 20 states. And it became, it was established on April the 4th, 1818. A new start, let's see. Oh, okay. Okay, then, surprise twist. The next flag is not another updated flag
Yeah.
of the United States. It is the Republic of
Mexico.
Mexico. So
Over the
Mexico,
panhandle.
yes, yeah, this included no man's land. Let's see, that was 1821 to 1836. It was actually kind of 15 years. Because Mexico had come in and taken Texas, and no man's land, I guess, was a part of all of that at that time.
Right.
And so that was included in Mexico. It also went over, west to
Further.
New Mexico and down. So, there are the 3 stripes and then the, eagle with the serpent in it, in the cactus in its talons here. This is an emblem of ancient Aztec Indian legend.
Mhm.
So, anyway, so there was the flag of Mexico. Then that same stretch of land
Right.
belonged to the Republic of Texas. So as we learned when we were talking about state, becoming a state became a republic first.
Right.
Well, no, it was a territory.
Territory.
It becomes a territory. So Texas had established itself as its own country, essentially at this time.
Right.
And so they grabbed back the, I was gonna say, remember the Alamo a while ago on,
Yes, on the
yeah,
Mexican
on
flag.
the Mexican flag. So this flew until 1839. And I thought that this was this was interesting, that this was what their flag looked like. Yeah, it looks like someone cut out felt letters and stuck on there. No offense, Texas, maybe.
I was gonna say, I'm
No offense.
to your flag
Yeah.
maker.
Okay, so, and now this whole time, the 20-star flag of, the US
Mhm.
is still flying
Right.
over the remainder of the state of Oklahoma. Okay, then Texas
The Lone
went with
Star.
their Lone Star flag. And so that flew over there, over the panhandle. That was January 25th,
39.
1839. It flew there until 1850. Texas became a state in the United States in 1845. So, they designed this flag and then kept it as their state flag.
Mhm.
Even though they went from being a republic to a state.
Right.
Then during this time, there was also the flag of the Choctaw Indian Nation that was carried by Choctaw Confederate troops during the Civil War. So,
Separate
Oklahoma,
government then.
it was Indian Territory
Mhm.
at this time. They had already the Trail of Tears, the forced removal of the 5 civilized tribes had happened. And the Civil War, we've learned before that the 5 civilized tribes were all kind of divided about
Who and which side?
which to give their allegiance to.
Mhm.
And so, the Choctaw Nation, flew this flag, and this has their, seal in the center.
Mhm.
And it was a separate government in the southeast Oklahoma until 1907, and was the only Indian nation that used a flag of its own at any time.
Mhm.
Even though all of the Indian nations have their own flags. So
Right.
I wasn't 100% sure what that statement meant.
The only Indian nation that used a flag of its own at any time.
At any time. I don't know how that at any time fits when they have their own flags
Maybe
of
it's
their
to
nations,
represent or
Cherokee
include.
Nation, Chickasaw Nation, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. So next, there's some controversy because remember, we're talking about flags flying at our state capitol.
Mhm.
And the Confederate flag flew over Indian Territory
Right.
for a time. There were
For about 4 years.
actually 2 Confederate flags. There was a Confederate battle flag, and there was let me find the name of it, Confederate national flag.
Mhm.
And we know the battle flag is the rebel flag that causes so many negative feelings. When
Negative.
people fly it,
Mhm.
there's a lot of, the South is gonna rise again, and people with that rebel flag.
Kind of like what you see on Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah,
Dukes of Hazzard.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, a flag like you all know what we're
What we're
talking about.
referring
This is actually the Confederate national let me read that. Yes, this is their national flag, and it was called Stars and Bars.
Mm-hmm.
And, so, I was looking for, okay. Yeah, so, I know what I was gonna say. The Confederate battle flag is held, by a lot of white supremacy groups. And so that flying at a state
Negativity.
capitol,
That connotation that's
it's a
associated.
real point of contention.
Mhm.
And so there was a legislator who said, hey, this is the one, because it was really the national flag, even though we were really not a state. And we were a place where there were battles.
Mhm.
I don't know. Is it necessary? I don't know. But interesting, to the point I made about
Right,
the Choctaws, is that this is called the Cherokee Braves Stars and Bars flag. And this is a flag that they carried during, the Civil War. There were some Cherokee soldiers who carried this flag,
Right.
and that they associated with them with the Confederacy.
Mm-hmm.
So there was some, I guess, discussion is perhaps hanging this flag.
Right.
I
Because
don't-
it clearly indicates the version is the only acceptable.
Yes,
Should be.
yes, should be the only acceptable one. So I don't know, that one, I am not certain. I couldn't find anything that cemented what has actually been decided
Right.
about that. So anyway, that brings us to Oklahoma's very first flag. Check it
Loud,
out.
proud, and 46.
That's right. I mean, can you imagine the chant? 46, 46.
We're not 47,
I don't
we're
know.
not 45.
We are 46, baby. Anyway, this was our first flag. I'm gonna say this was
Take
like,
back what I said about those earlier flags. I
Right.
apologize.
I'm thinking, okay, look, guys, we gotta have a flag. We need it fast.
Right.
Okay,
What is
red,
it?
white, and blue, good color scheme.
Anybody opposed to 46?
46?
Going once, going twice, we're sold.
So, let's put a big star in the middle, because the stars represent the states.
That's right. We're gonna stick with that same mantra.
Hey, if it's not broke, don't
Don't
fix
fix
it.
That's right.
Yeah, so, this was our first flag, and it held in place for 14 years. It wasn't even picked for 4 years. We were a state for 4 years before they decided on a flag.
It took them 4 years to come up with this.
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a priority and then it needed to
It
be.
probably wasn't.
And then it needed to be.
We're gonna say
and
it
then-
wasn't. You know,
Yeah.
let's
And
get our
this
ducks,
is-
let's
hey,
get
you
our
know
ducks in a row
This is
before we
something
fly.
kids can learn to replicate easily. I mean, it's not gonna take a lot of
Come up with the
extra.
color red. Makes you very-
Okay, 1925, there's a
We're getting
competition. And, dang it,
There was a competition, yes.
yes, and there was a woman, right there.
Louis Flunk Flute.
Louise Funk Fluke,
Mhm.
a local artist submitting the DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution, had this flag contest. And this was the winning design. It features an Osage shield.
Because at first they were afraid that the red flag 46 would be associated with communism.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I forgot about that part. Thank
So
you
they
for
proposed the
mentioning
new
that.
design. in
Yeah, yeah, because during those years, there was the whole communism, there was a bit of a movement.
Yeah,
I mean, it kind of ebbs and flows.
Right.
It went away, it came
Yeah,
back, it went
right.
away, it came back. And that would have been post-World War One.
Mhm. Yeah.
And there was a bit of an uprising, for people who supported communism
Right.
here in the United States. So, yeah, we're gonna get rid of the red, even though it was a sound color choice at
Right.
one time.
Right.
And we're gonna go with blue, which is the color of the background of the Choctaw flag,
Mhm.
which I thought was a great,
Mhm.
thing that
To
she
pull from.
picked. And this is then the Osage War Shield. And it has, these little crosses.
Yeah, there's
Here.
seven of them?
I think there's six.
Seven flat. There's 7 feathers.
7 feathers, eagle feathers.
Mhm.
And I find this very interesting because I zoomed in and I looked closely, and there's even some specifics that we're gonna show here in a minute.
Mhm.
I don't know why the eagle feathers have this reddish color on them and
Painted
not,
eagle feathers.
and
7
not
painted
black.
feathers.
I don't know, but anyway, and then we have the peace pipe, and then the, what is that branch of
It's the
olive?
olive branch.
An olive branch representing peace
Mhm.
here.
Mhm. And the pipe,
Yeah, so this one was until 1941,
and then the Oklahoma.
and then the name Oklahoma was added here at the bottom. But essentially, they kept, everything pretty much the same. And then in 2006, they decided that they needed to, designate specific color, names and
Right.
numbers, Pantone. They went with the Pantone colors.
For the flag.
And so here is,
So you can tell the hue of the blue.
is slightly different. And so we have, a tribute to Native peoples, the Osage Shield. The crosses are stars or high ideals. The olive branch represents peace and white settlers. The pipe is peace and Native people.
Mhm.
And the colors are specific Pantone values. And so here we go. This is French blue. The shield is called amber. The feathers and the pipe is called flesh.
Yes, current, yes.
Flesh. Gold brown is the feathers. That's this color here, and the crosses. Which it does not look like those colors to me, but these are the Pantone names for these colors.
It is more brown.
It is more brown, isn't it? Yeah, we have an actual flag here. I hope this is a 2006 or more recent flag. I'm just kidding.
But it is more of a brown.
And dark ruby red is the pipe body and the tassel. And then the olive branch is Dartmouth green.
Even on the flag, it's hard to tell between the red hue and the brown.
Between the ruby red and the golden
Mhm.
brown. What about the pipe and the feathers? It says flesh, but that's a very, can you guys, let's pull it over this way where they can see it. There we go.
Can you see that better?
Yeah, I don't know if you can kind of see the colors any better or not. The TV's kind of bright back there, but I think it's awesome that the colors are standardized now. You know, that there's a standard color selection, so you have specific colors for this. There's also there's a state statute that they passed that designated these colors. On a side note, in 2001, there was the North American Vexillological Association, NAVA, if you ever hear that, flag survey of the United States and Canadian flags, and the flag of Oklahoma was ranked 39th out of 72. So it's considered average.
Right.
We have an
Yeah.
average flag.
Or mid-range.
Yeah, people, it's not great, it's not terrible.
Right.
So there you have it.
We're doing okay.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, our flag is okay.
You're doing okay, Oklahoma.
You're, that's really funny. Okay, so there are some size distinctions, like the horizontal bar should be 3/4 the width of the vertical bar on the crosses. Anyway, there's some things. The flag is often produced in a 4/6 product
Right.
proportion. So
Right.
anyway, this is our flag now. Because this is our state symbol, I went on through, and of course, we have Oklahoma State Flag Salute, which was
Nineteen eighty-two.
from 1982. I often wondered why. I never knew the flag salute until my kids were in school.
Well, I was too enough for this, but we never did this when
Yeah.
I was in school.
Yeah.
The first time I ever heard this was whenever my daughter started school.
Yes, exactly. And so I guess they still do in elementary
They do.
school. They say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then, because, you know, this is for the United States, they hold their hand out like this, and
For
they
the Oklahoma.
say, I salute the flag of the state of Oklahoma. Its symbols of peace unite all people.
Mhm. Yep.
And there you have it. We have a flag salute also, which I think is kind of a cool little thing.
Mhm.
And so there you have it, guys. Everything you
Lots.
ever wanted to know about the Oklahoma state flag and then some.
That's right. And then some. for
And
sure.
then some. And just remember, it's okay. It is an okay flag. That's my favorite takeaway from today. Yeah, anyway, next week, we're gonna look at a few more Oklahoma symbols, and our featured artist,
Eve Cornejo.
Eve Cornejo, is going to be here on Thursday. Now, just like this, Trail Talk's a little bit early, if you were gonna catch us at 3, sorry, we're not live, but you can still watch.
3 o'clock, you're
Yeah.
still watching? Yeah. I mean, if you're still there, we'll. catch it
Exactly.
all.
So she's gonna be, we're gonna interview her at 1 o'clock next Thursday, the
The reception
18th.
is actually tomorrow.
Yes, her reception tomorrow night, Friday night, from 5:30 to 7:30, I believe,
believe
here
so.
at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center. She has some really cool pieces that she has, and they're for sale, and there are some very reasonably priced pieces in there. You could have an Eve Cornejo original.
That's right.
They're framed, I mean, they're great. They're really great
Good
pieces.
to
So
go.
be sure and watch us next week. Come to the reception tomorrow night,
Mhm.
and thanks for watching today, guys.
See you guys next week.
Happy
Happy
trails.
trails.